Yes, we are live. We are back for the WrestleMania SmackDown watch-along post-show. Yes, we are live. SmackDown has just gone off the air, live on USA Network in the United States and live on Netflix around the globe. In terms of a WrestleMania go-home show, I obviously did the watch-along and I did the post-show after Raw on Monday. And was pretty disappointed by that show. In all honesty, I thought it wasn't a very good show. Felt as a go home show. I thought it lacked a lot of effort, to be honest with you, and it just felt quite creatively bankrupt. By just lots of playing it safe and not just trying to sort of get to the weekend. In terms of a WrestleMania go home show, tonight's SmackDown was much better than Raw. I thought overall it was a good show. I thought the first hour, which was commercial free, was a really good hour of television. I thought there were some really good promos on this show from Seth Rollins. Obviously the main event segment, which we'll get to. I think we had some good matches on the show too, namely the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal they had on the show, a WrestleMania week tradition. And I think it's whet the appetite. It's raised more questions when it comes to WrestleMania tomorrow, which is always good. There is an element of a lack of things being predictable, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I think when it comes to the main event of Sunday, it's become way more obvious just what is going to happen. I mean, when you think about the build to this main event on Sunday between John Cena and Cody Rhodes, I can't think of a more one-sided build to a WrestleMania main event, quite frankly. I mean, we've seen Cody Rhodes largely come out on top in terms of the microphone, and obviously when it comes to the physicality of the last two segments, Cody win each time, which says to me, Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes isn't going to win at WrestleMania. John Cena's going to win his championship. So lots of interesting stuff. Some strange stuff when it comes to the booking of a major match for SmackDown next week. We've got answers when it comes to the return of Aleister Black to WWE television. We've got some concern when it comes to Rey Mysterio, possibly now missing WrestleMania due to an injury. So we've got loads to get into. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. As you can see right there, we are at 21,137 subscribers. So if you haven't already, please do subscribe. There should be notifications that pop up if you subscribe during the live stream. You can also join the WN365 roster. You can click the link in the video description below. It's also pinned in the chat. You can click the join button or you can scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. Speaking of the sidebar, you can see all upcoming watch-alongs that we've got coming up. Of course, WrestleMania Saturday, Sunday, tomorrow. We've got NXT Stand and Deliver, a watch-along and a post-show. When it comes to both nights of WrestleMania, as I mentioned, watch-alongs and post-shows for both, and also the Raw after WrestleMania. You can see it right there. We'll be doing a watch-along and a post-show for that. So WrestleMania weekend, we've got you covered. Right, let's get into this show. And as always, let me know your thoughts in the chat. We can get your comments up on the screen, such as Matt saying here, Cena definitely winning now, but with the heel turn, I wonder how controversial the ending will be. Again, it's that watching that segment has only really solidified my prediction, which was that Cena was going to win. I think Cena's always going to win. He's not retiring at WrestleMania. It's his last WrestleMania, but he's retiring in December. And he's coined himself the last real champion, the last real world champion. He's going to win number 17. He's going to break the Flair record. And he's going to have a heel run until the end of the year. And then he's going to drop the belt, possibly turn babyface just before. That seems to be the game plan, doesn't it, when it comes to all of this? So I think we're getting that. But as I mentioned, this show was from Las Vegas, the site of WrestleMania. It was at the T-Mobile Arena, pretty close to Allegiant Stadium. And we began the show with a Seth Rollins promo. As I mentioned, the first hour of this show I thought was particularly good. I must say, I thought it was particularly good. Seth Rollins comes out. What you did see, what was quite interesting about this show, and you see this every WrestleMania season, the idea and the narrative that there is any kind of semblance of a brand split, I mean, is laughable, considering we got quite a lot of Raw influence on this show. You have Seth Rollins, a Monday Night Raw superstar, appear on SmackDown to hype up the main event of tomorrow's WrestleMania, which does include a SmackDown superstar in Roman Reigns, although I think he might be technically a free agent. But you get the Raw superstar hype up the main event because obviously it's tomorrow, and you might as well use the TV time to promote the main event. So Rollins comes out, And I think it was right for Rollins to come out, and he sits down and he takes the flag off the microphone, and he's doing the pipe bomb. He's doing the pipe bomb promo. And I tell you what, Seth Rollins, I think he sometimes, when his promos, he's a bit of an acquired taste. Sometimes leans on the catchphrases a bit too much, doesn't he? Friday Night Rollins, sing my theme song, I'm a revolutionary, I'm a visionary. But I think he laid it out really well when he spoke truths and honestly about CM Punk and said CM Punk was gone for 10 years, but when he returned to wrestling, he didn't return in a WWE ring. He returned elsewhere because someone wrote him a big check. But he burnt that bridge, and then he came back to WWE because they wrote him a big check. He says with Roman Reigns, obviously there's a lot of history there, but he's part-timer. Picks and chooses when he shows up. He's not here all the time. Meanwhile, you've got me. I've been here the whole time. I've been here the whole time when Punk wasn't here. I've been here the whole time when Roman Reigns wasn't here. Last year at WrestleMania, with my knee hanging by a thread and my stepfather at home dying from cancer, I was still there because it was the most important thing to the company, to the business. And I tell you what, it was a good promo. It was a really good promo. And actually, I mentioned this in the watch along. They showed the final sequence of that WrestleMania 40 main event last year. They've showed it a few times, and they've uploaded a video, WWE, where you see the final 5-minute stretch, and they show a lot of unseen camera angles, and one of which is Rollins, when Rollins comes out and he's wearing the Shield, vest, and comes out with the Shield music. And you sort of forget just how bad his knee was at the time. He could not walk. He had to use a steel chair basically as a walking stick. And The Rock, who's in the ring at the time, has to pad for time because Rollins is taking a lifetime because he can't even get into the ring. It's insanity. So he did sacrifice everything. So that is true. And that word there, sacrifice, he used that over and over and over and over again in that promo. And eventually, he rounds it out by saying that, this isn't, that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler, that he's going to win at WrestleMania. Now, you can let me know in the chat. We've spoken about this quite extensively recently as to who wins tomorrow's main event. It's anyone's ball game. I think truly it is anyone's ball game. I think that you can make an argument, of course, for CM Punk winning. It's his first ever WrestleMania main event. He's obviously, which is his career goal, was to get to that WrestleMania main event. You can make obviously an argument for Roman Reigns winning. Whilst he's not the face of WWE anymore, he's still one of their biggest stars, one of their most well-recognized stars, one of their highest-paid stars, and there's still mileage to get out of him. Or you go with Seth Rollins, of the guy who is there all the time, the guy that has the most longevity still out of those three, and probably the least predictable one to win it. And then obviously Paul Heyman's involved in all of it. Heyman's going to be in the corner of Punk. He's still the wise man of Roman Reigns, and he still owes, technically, a favor to Seth Rollins, what that may be. So I still lean to the idea that Rollins is in the triple threat to take the pin, but I think the idea that we're going into a WrestleMania main event on the first night, that is truly unpredictable. I mean, truly unpredictable. I couldn't tell you who's going to win. Not like the main event of night 2, where it's quite obvious who's going to win. I think that's a good thing. So I thought it was a very good promo by Rollins, and I think he did an excellent job with it. We then have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which you can see there. Lots of stars in there that aren't on WrestleMania. You saw the likes of Karrion Kross was in there, The Miz was in there, Andrade, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rey Fenix, Chad Gable, the LWO, A-Town Down Under, etc. Now, you felt for the longest time that Rey Fenix was going to win it. It's only his third match. He got an entrance. There's only 2 people that got an entrance. It was Rey Fenix and Shinsuke Nakamura. Rey Fenix, he's going to walk the top rope and kick someone in the face, and then suddenly El Grande Americano appears and eliminates Rey Fenix. Of course, his quest to take out luchadors continues. This then left Andrade and Carmelo Hayes as the final 2 participants, and it's Carmelo Hayes who gets the victory and wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And I'm really, really pleased for Carmelo Hayes because, look, he was main event of Stand and Deliver last year, and there was a lot of excitement of him getting called up to the main roster. And probably the best thing he's done, actually, on the main roster is those series of matches with Andrade, which is why they had such fantastic chemistry. This match was really, really good. And again, the closing stretch of this was really, really good because they faced each other so many times. But then since then, he's not really done anything, and he's had these weird matches where he's been facing people and getting beaten quite easily, or he's been facing people that were getting traded over, and you kind of go, did he piss someone off backstage? Because it just feels like he's not really doing anything on the show now. And then he gets put in a storyline where he's tag team partners with The Miz, which obviously, look, The Miz veteran, but being with The Miz in 2025 is kind of like a death sentence. So you were concerned for him there. But that's a big win, and hopefully this means that there are plans in place for Carmelo Hayes. They pulled the trigger on him. He's a fantastic athlete, fantastic performer, good on the microphone. I don't know, in 2025 what really winning Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal means, but it's a spot for him. It's winning matches. It's being highlighted. So I guess that's something, isn't it? Fat Thor's in the chat says, I've hit the like. Big up, Owen. Appreciate you, Fat Thor. Appreciate everyone that's watching. We've got nearly 50 people watching at the moment. If you haven't already, click the like button, and also be sure to subscribe, as you saw just a few seconds ago. If you are a new subscriber, it will pop up on the screen as well. So Carmelo Hayes wins the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Then we had the first of these interview segments of Wade Barrett talking to the people in the Women's Championship match at WrestleMania. First, we had Charlotte Flair. Effectively, they're leaning into the controversy. They're leaning into the segment they had a few weeks ago where they went off script and kind of talking into that. I mean, they're right to, because it just didn't really have any momentum, this storyline, before all of that happened. But there is this... I think Charlotte Flair's going to win. I do. I think Charlotte Flair's going to win, and I think the reaction is going to be one of a meltdown. I don't think she should. I think Tiffany Stratton, the younger star, the one you're trying to build, you shouldn't have her lose straight away at WrestleMania to Charlotte Flair. But there have been these rumors, haven't there, that when they were bringing Charlotte Flair back, she just signed, before she got injured, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, contract for a female superstar in WWE history. She's getting paid very, very handsomely, and they're going to want return on investment, I think. I think Charlotte Flair's winning. But they're right to lean into the thing that's trying to make it interesting. Speaking of the women's division, next up we had this Women's World Title segment. Once again, a Raw segment on SmackDown. Rhea Ripley came out first, cut a promo. Out came Io Sky. Then out came Bianca Belair as well. So they were doing their usual, kind of just ignoring Io Sky. It was more about Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Then out comes Naomi, who says to Bianca, look, I've been trying to call you. I've been trying to, get in your voicemails. I'm messaging you. It said delivered. So I know they've been arriving. This then leads to Jade Cargill coming out, which then leads to a giant brawl. And of course, if they're all brawling, that being Jade Cargill with Naomi, and that being Rhea Ripley with Bianca Belair, they're once again ignoring Io Sky, who takes them all out with a moonsault and then is standing tall to close the segment. So it was kind of just more of the same. But I think it is something, actually, if we go back to it. I had a prediction several weeks ago during one of the watch-alongs and the post-shows. I forget which episode of SmackDown it was. I'm still predicting, and this might be a bit, we'll see what happens over WrestleMania weekend. I'm still predicting that Bianca Belair had something to do with attacking Jade Cargill. I go back to that sit-down interview that Jade Cargill did when she was asked, did you see Naomi attacking you? And she says, I didn't see anything. I just saw Naomi walking away as everything was fading to black. That, to me, is not, I saw Naomi attacking me. I think Bianca Belair put her up to it. Bianca is getting booed. And I think that with these boos, they're going to turn her heel. I think Bianca wins the triple threat match and becomes Women's World Champion, turning heel in the process. I think Naomi helps her. And I think it was all a ruse. And it's just a bit of a red herring. I think Bianca wins the world title, and I think Naomi helps her do it, and they've both turned heel. And then it's actually later revealed that Bianca actually attacked Jade Cargill, or they both did it. I think that's the plan. Maybe I'm wrong. That's far-fetched, but that's what I think is going to happen. Fat Thor says, I prefer Rio or Io to win. Bianca seems a little stagnant with her character angle, but if you're right about the betrayal angle, it would be brilliant. I think she does need to turn, like you said. I think it is quite stale, and the crowds, they tried to do this weird thing where they're like, oh, it's European crowds, they're booing Bianca for no reason. Well, Vegas was doing it. Now, I suppose you could make the argument that's really an international crowd because it's everyone in there for WrestleMania weekend. All right, fair. But I think there's a change needed. Next up, we had WWE Tag Team Championship match. Street Profits were up against... they were facing off against the Motor City Machine Guns. But as you can see, as the match didn't really get going all that much, out came DIY. It ended in no contest. And DIY stole the WWE Tag Team Championships. Gargano and Ciampa, they just ran off with it. And you thought, okay, this is interesting. We then go to a backstage segment after a commercial break. Nick Aldis says, give the title back. And then he's angry. He says, I'm sick of all this stuff going on with the tag team division. Next week, it's going to be DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits in a tables, ladders, and chairs match, TLC match. And the crowd boo because rightfully so, they're like, we would want to see that match. And then you start thinking to yourself here, this is how illogical and crazy this is, right? This weekend at WrestleMania, a 2-night affair, by the way, right? A 2-night affair. So they can get more people on the card than ever. They've got 2 nights, 2 shows. They can't get this match on one of the shows. What they can get on one of the shows is a standard tag team match for the World Tag Team titles on Raw between the New Day and the War Raiders. Now, I'm telling you now, and many people were saying this in the chat on the watch along, if the plan is not for Big E to come back and get physically involved in that match, and they have just gone with the New Day versus the War Raiders for just a random WrestleMania World Tag Team title match over having DIY versus the Street Profits versus the Motor City Machine Guns in a tables, ladders, and chairs match on a night of WrestleMania for that tag team match, that is the most illogical, bizarre, and strange booking of all time. So they've now raised people's expectations, I think. They've raised people's expectations basically to say there's a reason that World Tag Team title match is on WrestleMania and this WWE Tag Team title match isn't. And if there is no Big E return, if there is no angle, it's just going to be a standard tag team match, they have shot themselves in the foot massively. Because that is a WrestleMania match. Tables, ladders, and chairs match for the WWE Tag Team Championship. I mean, it's been done. It's woven into the fabric of WrestleMania. How many ladder matches have there been at WrestleMania? The most iconic ladder matches in WWE history have been at WrestleMania. The most iconic tables, ladders, and chairs match is at WrestleMania. WrestleMania 17. Dudley's versus the Hardys versus Edge and Christian. I mean, again, it's the most iconic tables, it's the tables, ladders, and chairs match at WrestleMania 17. It's one of the reasons WrestleMania 17 is considered to be one of, if not the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Because, obviously, the match card, which includes the greatest tables, ladders, and chairs match of all time. So the fact that this wouldn't be on a WrestleMania and it would be on a SmackDown after WrestleMania, I just don't get. I don't get. It's, for me, like I said, it's artificially raised the expectations of that World Tag Team title match. Big E has to return physically in that World Tag Team title match, because if he doesn't, then WWE, by their creative genius, have decided we've got 2 tag title matches here. What do we put on our biggest and best show of the year? We'll put the lesser match. We'll put the lesser match on the bigger show. That makes no sense. That makes 0 sense to me. I get that. Oh, you want to draw a rating on SmackDown, so we're going to put that tables, ladders, and chairs match on SmackDown. It's the SmackDown after WrestleMania. It's going to do a rating anyway. It doesn't, you know, you're not going to draw viewers in for that. So I don't get it. I don't understand that one. Next up comes out Randy Orton. He cut a promo where, to be honest, this screen grab doesn't actually do it justice. The veins were bulging out of his head and his neck like nobody's business. Effectively, he says, I still don't have an opponent for WrestleMania. What I'm going to do, WrestleMania Sunday, I'm going to put my boots on, I'm going to put my tights on. He then said he's going to put on just the right amount of baby oil, no Diddy, and he's going to have an open challenge. He's going to have an open challenge. He's going to call someone out. Well, anyone can face him, basically. Now, we know it's not going to be Aleister Black. We know why. We'll talk about that in a bit. The question then becomes who? Who's it going to be? And let's face it, everyone loves an open challenge. Everyone loves the speculation. For the next 2 days, people are going to go crazy speculating about who's going to face Randy Orton. And you can let me know in the chat who you think is going to be facing Randy Orton. Obviously, Aleister Black next Friday on SmackDown. Could be Rusev. That's possible. Could be Nick Aldis. That's possible. As far as anyone else, I mean, I suppose the thing that WWE does have the possibility to do, they do have the possibility to do something really crazy that nobody's expecting, but I don't know who that would be. You know, do you can't out go, right, it's The Rock, or it's Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Legend Killer, or like Jamie says there, Jeff Hardy, you know, or one of the Hardys. Like, what do you do? So they have the possibility to do that, or they could just have it be Nick Aldis, and that would be cool too. Or do they sort of go down the route of they have it be lots of people? You know what I mean? You could just have lots of legends come out, go, actually, you know, so, let's say it was something like it's a legend come out, or just think of a random legend, or a random ex-WWE person. Oh, the Road Dogg comes out, and Randy Orton hits him with an RKO and beats him in 5 seconds, goes, nope, I can't have that to be my WrestleMania match. Someone else come out. And it's another blast from the WrestleMania past. Like you said, it's Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy comes out, hits him with an RKO, 1, 2, 3 after 4 minutes. Goes, no, can't have that. Someone else comes out. It's Bubba Ray Dudley, who Randy Orton legitimately hates. He goes, well, no, can't have that. You know, RKO very quickly, 1, 2, 3. Out comes Rob Van Dam. You know, no, RKO 1, 2, 3 goes, no, can't. No, got. They could do a whole thing basically. That could be quite interesting. Imagine the Undertaker came out or something like that. Undertaker, I'm gonna have one more match, brother. I don't know. There's lots of people it could be. So I think the speculation on that is quite interesting. We'll find out. As I said, one person it's not going to be is Aleister Black. We've got a date. It's going to be 4/25/25, which is next Friday's SmackDown. So that's when he's going to be making his WWE return. So it's not going to be Aleister Black. Fat Thor says, I think it's going to be a debut. I suppose maybe it could be someone from NXT, maybe. Could it be like an Obafemi, you know, after NXT Stand and Deliver? I guess that's possible. I guess that's not impossible. So maybe it could be something like that. But yeah, we shall see. I think that's a fun thing. They've made an interesting situation out of obviously a very frustrating situation with Kevin Owens getting injured. Next up, we had Chelsea Green. She faced off against Zelina Vega. Vega got the victory after hitting the Code Red off the middle rope. We next had LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa. This one quickly got turned into a tag team match when Jacob Fatu and Braun Strowman interfered. It led to Jacob Fatu obviously not getting the pin. He's facing LA Knight at WrestleMania. It was LA Knight getting the pin on Solo Sikoa ahead of the US title match at WrestleMania. I was just thinking about Sikoa. It's not going to be Solo Sikoa versus Randy Orton because he's getting pinned on SmackDown. I remember a time Solo Sikoa was challenging for WWE Championship and he's faced Roman Reigns. At one point, it was Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa was earmarked for WrestleMania. Now, on the WrestleMania go-home show for SmackDown, he's getting pinned by LA Knight. He's not even on the show, which says quite a lot about the year that Solo Sikoa has had. Even though he's featured in high-profile matches, when it comes to the big show, not involved. So LA Knight gets the victory there. We then had the other sit-down interview ahead of the Women's Championship match. Tiffany Stratton talking to Wade Barrett. Once again, to be fair, I thought this was quite well done with Tiffany. She basically said that, you know, when I had the split-screen interview with Charlotte, I felt like I was getting bullied. And I felt like I was getting, you know, pushed around. And I didn't like that. And so I decided to do my prep. And I decided to, you know, be cautious. And I fired back and I got the win, just like I'm going to get the win at the week on Saturday. So like I said, they're leaning into that sort of personal aspect of it. Super chat here from Kasim says, would Harry Maguire beat William Regal? That's a good question. I mean, Regal will use brass knuckles. I'm not sure if Harry will. I think Harry Maguire's, you know, finisher would be probably the headbutt, diving headbutt, and you know his head's fucking massive. So I might just give Regal the edge on that one. Might just give Regal the edge, just maybe. Next up, we had this tag match, which if you see Rey Mysterio there, it's one of the last times you actually see him in the throughout the match, because as you can see, if you just see in the background of this picture there behind Rey Fénix, you can see some people at ringside there, and that is people checking, 2 trainers checking on Rey Mysterio, because the team of the LWO and Rey Fénix get the victory, but Rey Mysterio wasn't seen after this. He was videoed being helped out of the arena by these 2 WWE medical personnel, and it looks like he's had a pretty serious injury. Couldn't walk, couldn't put any pressure or weight on his leg, on his foot. Don't know specifically what the injury is. He's due to wrestle tomorrow. He's due to face El Grande Americano. Now, if Rey Mysterio can't put any weight on his foot 24 hours before WrestleMania, I don't think he's wrestling. So I think we have a situation where likely tomorrow turns into El Grande Americano versus Rey Fénix instead of Rey Mysterio. Now, I think the long-term plan would have been to either unmask El Grande Americano as Chad Gable tomorrow, or build to a mask versus mask match. I don't know if they just slot Rey Fénix into that and say, right, it's mask versus mask with Rey Fénix instead. I don't know, but I think Rey Fénix might possibly be replacing him. And then we get to the main event segment. We get to Cody Rhodes and John Cena's final face-off ahead of WrestleMania Sunday. And I tell you what, I think I'm not the biggest Cody Rhodes fan, I must say. I do sometimes find him to be a bit insincere and a bit, plays the politics game very well. But I think he deserves huge credit for this segment, because Cody came out and he got booed. When he first started talking in this segment, the guy got booed out of the building, and my mind immediately went to, it's Hogan Rock WrestleMania 18. Hogan Rock WrestleMania 18. It was Hollywood Hulk Hogan with the NWO. He was the heel against the babyface The Rock, one of the faces of the company. And they got to Toronto. They got to the Sky Dome. And the crowd liked Hogan. Why did they like Hogan? Because they grew up with Hulk Hogan. And he'd just come back to WWE. And 20 years ago, they were like, they know Hulk Hogan. They had known Hulk Hogan for 18 WrestleManias at that point, right? And they were like, we want Hogan. We don't like Rock. And there is the potential that this is where this is going, because Rhodes got booed and he got booed, and Cena cut a promo on him. He was having a go about the fans, but the fans didn't give a shit. They like Cena. They're there for his final WrestleMania. They're into Cena, right? And Cena absolutely just destroyed Cody Rhodes on the microphone. And fairness to Cody Rhodes, he hit back with a promo that was so good, calling out Cena about being old, melting wax. He's paler than Sting at Starrcade 97, which I took that one personally because someone's going to use that insult on me. But by the end of it, his promo was so good. Talk about Cena, you walked on, butt-ass naked at the Oscars because you carry coffee for them now. Crowd started cheering Cody. It was that good of a promo. And that is when you go, that's levels. That is levels to the game. Because many people would have buckled. Many people would have felt the pressure there and gone, well, I'm screwed. They're going to cheer John for the whole weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do. And they will. And they still will on Sunday, by the way. They still will. But he did excellent to get out of that. And he did excellent to kind of navigate out of it and actually get cheers. So I think he deserves a huge amount of credit for that. But we got a bit of physicality. And I thought going into this segment, because the only physicality we've had so far is Cody hit the crossroads on Cena. So I thought, we're probably going to get Cena hit the AA onto Cody. It looked like that was going to happen. He got Cody up on his shoulders. You can see right there. But Cody gets out of it, hits the crossroads. And once again, just like we did on Raw a couple of weeks ago, Cena's laid out by Cody Rhodes. And there's only one way to look at this. Cena's winning. I mean, I thought that Cena was winning anyway, but he's definitely winning. John Cena hasn't been able to touch Cody Rhodes throughout the entirety of this build. He hasn't. On the microphone, they've largely had Cody Rhodes winning by design. They've had Cena talking, but Cody, winning the verbal back and forths. They've had Cody hit the crossroads once. Now Cody hits the crossroads twice. Both times standing tall. Cena is winning. If you had any doubts in your mind, don't. John Cena is winning his 17th World Championship at WrestleMania. That is happening. They also reference The Rock in this. So I think that it says to me that The Rock will probably show up night 2. My prediction still is that Stone Cold somehow gets involved in that, I think. But Cena's winning. Cena is winning. The plan is for him to break the record, win the 17th World Championship. Then, after he's won that 17th World Championship, he's going to be defending it. First will be against Randy Orton at Backlash in Orton's hometown, St. Louis, Missouri. Cena versus Orton one more time. Cena will go on a run as the last world champion. Eventually, he'll drop the belt, probably turn babyface, and have his final match as babyface John Cena. Don't know who that'll be against, but that's what's going to happen. So that's my plan. That's what I think is going to happen at WrestleMania. And if anything, that just kind of confirmed it for me. That Cena is going to win. that is factual. That is going to happen. So there you go. That was SmackDown. Like I said, much better show than Raw. I thought Raw was very poor this week. It was a better go home show. Wasn't amazing. First hour was really good, and it kind of sort of tailed off. Some questionable booking of particularly that TLC situation. So we'll see what happens with the World Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania. But there you go. Tomorrow you can see right there, NXT Stand and Deliver. I will be live for a watch-along and a post-show for that. And then later on, after NXT Stand and Deliver, of course, I will be live for WrestleMania Saturday. I'll be live 15 minutes before the show starts for WrestleMania Saturday. So be sure to join me then for the watch-along and, of course, a post-show. Same when it goes to WrestleMania Sunday. I'll be live 15 minutes before the show starts, and also I'll be live straight after for a post show. And then Monday for Raw, it's the Raw after WrestleMania. I'll be live 15 minutes before the show goes on the air on Netflix, and I'll be live for a post show just like this one too. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Appreciate everyone that's clicked the like button. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe on the way out. We've got over 21,000 subscribers now. We're at 21,139. I don't know what the goal is for WrestleMania weekend, but if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. I'm already into like way over what my expectation was for this year anyway, so this is just uncharted territory. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, click the like button. You can join the WN365 roster. Links in the video description is pinned in the chat. You can click the join button or scan the QR code when it's on the screen. And I'll see you all tomorrow for WrestleMania Saturday, but first NXT Stand and Deliver. Appreciate you. Peace.